When it comes to doing card tricks, most people struggle to find one specific card in a shuffled pack of playing cards. Today, I'm going to be cutting directly to all four tens. No setup and no funny business. So, with all card tricks, we need a deck completely mixed. No stacked cards, no special markings, just a normal deck of 52. The goal is simple: four piles, four cuts, four tens. Let's get into it. So the best way to start out with this trick is to have three different spectators. Now, you can ask spectator one, just ask them, how many do you think that is? And let's say they aim around 12. I'm like, you know what? It's close. I think, it's roughly around 10. So can spectator one try and cut off about 10? So they cut off about 10 right there. Now, I think you're close. I think it's roughly 10. I think it's not a bad effort. And spectator 2, can you try and cut off about 10? So they cut off about 10. I'm like, okay, not a bad effort. And, it's not easy trying to cut off 10. So spectator 3, can you cut off 10? So they do that. They try and cut off 10. Now, realistically speaking, if all these piles were even, how many should be left in my hand? Should be 12, right? So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's 7 cards. Obviously, not all of them are even, which is fine. But here's the weird part. When I was asking you to cut off 10, I didn't mean try and cut off 10 cards. I mean, wherever you would cut, you get 10, you get 10, you get 10, you get 10. Yeah, that's insane. But if you're being honest, do you think that was luck? Because that's what everyone thinks until you've learned the secret. So if you want to perform this yourself, I'll break it down for you step by step. No fancy sleights, just timing, control, and confidence. Let's get into it. So here's the tutorial for the trick you all just saw. So what you're gonna need is all four tens. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put 2 tens on top of the deck and 2 tens on bottom. So here's your setup. So 2 tens are on bottom and 2 tens are on top. Now, when it comes to the, cutting to the 4 tens, it try and sell the trick, if that makes sense. And here's what I mean. So when you're cutting to the first 10, you do this yourself. And you say, how many cards do you think that is? And what you're doing is you're estimating around 10 cards. But in doing so, since you still have the 2 tens on top, what you're doing is you're actually keeping your middle, your ring, and your pinky finger here. Because when you riffle down 10 cards, you're actually going to be keeping down that first 10. Now, here's where the second 10 comes into play. So that's why you have both of the 10s on top of the deck. Now, you can ask the spectator saying, hey, how many cards do you think that is? And they say whatever cards, how many cards they named, whether that be 8 or 12 or 11. And you could say, oh, okay, I'm aiming around 10. And, I'm like, it doesn't really matter if they agree with you or not. But, and then you ask them to try and cut off about 10. So they cut off about 10. And, it doesn't matter if they're accurate or not. So it could be under, it could be over 10 cards. Now, here's where the tricky part comes in. This is where you're going to actually utilize the 2 tens that are on the bottom. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to riffle down 1 card. And you're going to get a pinky break at that point in time, right? And you're going to do a swing cut like this. And what you're doing is you're putting that top packet that you just swing cut on the bottom, and you're dropping off that first 10 that's on the bottom. And you could do some double undercuts like this. Pretty much what a double undercut is you're cutting from the break, from your pinky break. All right, so now you have that 10 on top, and you still have that other 10 on bottom. So you can have another spectator try and cut off 10. So they, try and cut off 10, and you do the same process as before, as for this one right here. So you riffle down one card. Sometimes if you need to, you can just spread the deck to catch that pinky break. So you do the same thing. You do a swing cut. You drop off that bottom card, which is the 10, and you do some double undercuts, right? And you ask the last spectator to try and cut off 10 cards. Now, what I like to say is, realistically speaking, if all these were even, how many cards should be left in my hand? So if all these were, 40, 12 should be left in my hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so and then if it's over or under, so in this case it's over, so it's 14, you can say, obviously, it's not all even. But if you wanted to play a joke and it's for more than 12 cards, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you can take the last, like, however many there are, and drop it as 1, saying 12. But it's up to you, truly. But going back, you can say, obviously it's not all even, but here's where the weird part comes into play. And you could word it however you want. You just word it however you want, really. And you can say, when I was saying try and pick up 10, I didn't mean pick up 10 cards. And here's where it gets the, insane part, because you can say, no, I meant wherever you would pick, you get 10, you get 10, you get 10, and you get 10. Yeah, and that's how the ending should be, because that's where you would get the most, insane reactions and everything. But here's what sells the trick the most is you don't want to rush the trick, honestly, and keep eye contact with your audience, because that, engages them, and let the reveal breathe. Confidence is the real magic. So what I mean by those things is you don't want to, like I was saying, is you don't want to rush into getting this trick over. You wanted to let it go as smoothly as you need to. And that's when the reveal breathes, and just let it sink in, and let the audience just have that awe moment and everything. So, but yeah, that's the tutorial. If you enjoyed this, drop a like so more people can see it. Subscribe for more card magic every week. And I really do hope you all enjoyed this trick. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.